Hey, my friends. So all seats are good. Everyone's made it back. Happy to see you. So we have second semester. So think of a few things I want to make sure we're good with. So some of you might have checked your grade, and then you might have checked your grade like a day or two later, and you're like, holy cow, my grade went up. So what we had done, so I did two things. One, I held my promise. If you went to homecoming, I exempted your lowest score. And then after that, we had all decided as a group that we would exempt your lowest quiz score. So if you went to homecoming, you got 2 quizzes that. Okay?
That's how my grade curve 3%.
That's how I passed.
So, actually, I took points away from Cooper and gave me a.
For real.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, most schools should be like math.
I don't know. Y'all passed. So the nice thing is nobody failed, which that's always good because that always becomes the uncomfortable conversation. So someone had emailed, said, hey, can you give me some more points so I don't have an A- and I have an A? And I was like, right at the exact same time that I was putting in the exempt the lowest score. So that person's email was answered inadvertently. So that's always good. I don't remember if it was this class or the other class. So that's the full thing of, that's how the grades went. I think first semester was well, yes?
Yeah.
So second semester, things I want to try to avoid, things I would like to try to avoid, especially as we hit around springtime, because we all know when it gets to that really awesome weather, it's like, dude, I'm not going to do work because I'm going to be in springtime. Let's try not to saturate Mr. Stirrup with, hey, here's all my missing work from January when we're sitting here in May, please. And please don't be the kid that gives me your missing work from last semester. I won't accept it. Why not? Because. So that's the ins and outs. Everything's going to be about the same. We do have 2 capstone tests that we will take, and we will do the same thing. We will make it worth 14 points because you need to get a 7 out of 10, and whatever you get above that, whatever you get above a 7, obviously double that score is the score you get, and it counts as extra credit. So you get 2 extra credit, bad boys. I'm actually creating a review. I went back and I recreated the polynomial review, and I put it on Schoology. You're welcome to try it if you want, but we're not going to take that test again. Then we will deal with the rational functions next, which is this stuff. I'm not quite sure when we'll give that test, but it'll be the same idea. You have the opportunity to, hopefully everyone gets at least a 7 on it, but you have the opportunity, if you didn't, to come and get help. Cool? Yeah.
Is the final of the semester going to be everything from the year or just this semester?
I'm actually going all the way back to kindergarten.
No.
Yes.
You have to identify colors.
Adding and subtracting.
All right. So there might be some stuff from first semester that leads into second semester stuff. I mean, you'll see quadratics again because, well, they exist throughout math. You'll see linear functions again because, guess what? It's math.
But
So
polynomials, that can be a big
you will see polynomials. Now we're going to put polynomials one on top of the other. And that's going to create vertical and horizontal asymptotes and end behavior or slant asymptotes. It's going to create holes. It's going to be great. You'll love it. All right. So,
That looks very disapproving.
what I do? You disapprove? You'll do fine. All right. So I got some notes.
You need a new book, or no?
Yes, you need a new book, and they're in the bookstore. You need a new book because you finished the old one. So your new book looks like this. It's green. It says Accelerated ACC Algebra 2, second semester.
Isn't that just the other half of the...
Yeah, go buy it. Or Or I'll put it on Schoology. Actually, it already is on Schoology, and you can print it off each page at a time. And then you're like mad at me because the book on Schoology didn't match up because your computer was a different font, and your computer made everything smaller, so your page 1 became like page 1 and 2. Just things like that happen.
It was like 4 pages.
Yes.
It was so long to load.
What's the printing?
So go buy it.
I'm gonna. For my
Do they have it today?
Last year,
He's on my head.
last semester, did you not buy it?
Oh, I did. He's at.
It's just like college, the making of my education.
So I already did 8A.
Of course, I'm getting off. I'm counting the wrong way already. 2, 3, it's just like 4.
It's like
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Thank you.
All right. Other things that will continue to be available for you.
I love math.
Oh, Matt. Summer Hill. They make the best games.
Okay. A few things that are still going to be always available for you. As always, I will be recording, and so keep the cussing down, especially me. And anything else? Oh, and if you happen to miss for whatever reason, did everyone in the back get notes? We're good.
Are we skipping the statistics here?
So this is where I'm at right here.
No, you switched it out on us.
I did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, switch it back. I don't like
Can you put it back?
There you go.
Thank you.
Feel better. Okay.
I don't like that.
So you have to do me this favor, please do me this favor. If you're absent, and I don't care the reason you're absent, but if you're absent, please watch the video before you come back. We are building upon things pretty quickly, so if you're like missed 3 days and you come back, it's going to look like ancient Greek, and unless you're fluent in ancient Greek, you're going to be lost. So don't try and say, I'm going to come back, see if I can catch up, and then, oh, crud, I can't catch up, and then go watch videos. Be proactive, get in front of it. You know if you're sick. Yeah, it sucks if you're sick. And I realize from 10 to 11, Price is Right is on. I watch that almost every day over break. They had a great prize on Price is Right. Man, I love this prize. It was an 8-day trip to Chicago, and you're like, yeah, what's the big deal? With 7 nights at 7 different pizzerias in Chicago. I thought that sounded fantastic. I thought that would be fantastic. I love Chicago pizza.
You just don't eat food.
If I'm in New York, I like the big slice. I gotta fold over. If I'm in Chicago, I'm going the big fat stuff. All right, let's move on with this. And as always, if you have questions, pause me. Okay, this is newer stuff, so this doesn't always fall into your prior knowledge. So rules of exponents. We already talked about exponents at one point. We know that when exponents are being multiplied together, they add. It's like bunnies. You count them up. And if they're on top of each other, they multiply, right? Okay, so we have that. So that's a little prior knowledge. But then we have rational exponents and radicals. And a radical is like the square root thing, but it doesn't always have to be the square root. It could be the square root, the cube root, the fourth root, whatever root you want. Okay, so we're going to get that. So let's see. We have something here. Moving on down. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Sorry, I apologize for making it difficult. So we don't want a negative exponent. So where is that going? Yeah, it's going to move down. Now here's the question that some people might have. Where's the bottom of this? There is nothing on the bottom right now. Well, technically, 1's on the bottom, right?
Yes, 1's always on.
All right, so would you feel comfortable with this? Is that an okay gig?
Yes.
Then I multiply my numbers together on top. 5 and 3 is 15. It's like, dude, how did you get that? And then how many x's are on top? 8. And how many are on bottom?
3.
3.
Oh,
Tug
so
of war,
you
top,
got
bottom.
5.
Who wins? Top by how many?
15x to the 5th.
There you
Good
go.
job.
The one math problem I know how to do.
Good. You're off to a good start. Can you just base my grade on that? All right. Hey, if I have something to the 0 power, what does that mean goes in place of it?
Uno.
A 1. Okay, good. So right here, I'm going to put a 1 there. Is that okay? So it's 4 times 1, which is? Okay. It's not 41. I know some kids in algebra 1 like, hey, look, it replaces. Now it's 41. Okay. There's a reason you're 4 times in the same class. All right, negative exponents. That's going to do what?
Bottom.
Move down. What's that going to do?
Up.
What's that going to do?
Up.
So we have 2 moving up, 1 moving down. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so let's just rewrite this so we don't have any negative exponents. That makes the math people happy. And then 4 times 1 is 4.
Yeah, we
And
don't
then
need
I have
negativity here.
and it's 6 y to the second. So I'm just going to yellow. This moved, and this moved. Does everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
And then where did the x to the 0 go? Well, it became a 1, and then 4 times 1 is the 4. Okay? What'd I do? What? Wait, what? Because 6 is raised to the first power right now. And that doesn't need to move. All right, so let's adjust this. So I can do whatever order I want. So I can go 8 times 4 is 32. 32 over 6. 32 over 6 would reduce to... Wait, did I say 32? 32, and I'm putting other numbers. I'm already off to a bad start. So what does that reduce to? 16 over 3? We good with that so far? All right. How many x's do I have on top? I got this one. I got this one. I have 6 on top. Do I have any on bottom? Nope. So then I have this. We're good. How many y's on top?
5.
I have 5 on top and 3 on bottom. Who wins?
Wait, don't you have 2 on?
2 on bottom. And then top wins by 3. So there's my answer here. Squeeze in there.
That's easy.
A okay so far?
Yeah.
Waiting. Do you need to move back up front? It's too far away now.
Oh, yeah.
You okay, Kate? Who said wait? Okay. And look, Olivia's on her phone already. We're not even 3 hours into the school day. It's like, dude, got to see what the real world's doing.
I know how to do
Your
it.
friends in English Snapchat you because English is still playing the name game. Going, okay, Billy, Johnny, Carl, Eddie.
I don't know half these people's names in here.
Neither do I, so we're okay.
Honestly, it took me like 2 months to remember a single person's name.
I know.
That's why a lot of times like, hey there, buckaroo. Good seeing you. Y'all can mess with me. You can come up to the door tomorrow as you're coming into class going, what's my name? What's my name? Come on.
Hey, you know.
All right. So, on these problems, if we're going to distribute over, we don't have to get rid of the negative exponents right away. We can go ahead and distribute it throughout and just realize, hey, we have negative exponents. So I have 3 times 4, that's 12. I'm multiplying the bases together, so I'd add the exponents. So what happens if I add the exponents there? X to the negative 1. So that will eventually need to move down. And then I have, and then just the y to the 5th, right? So
3x to the second y. Whoa. Wrong.
3x squared y 5.
is there an addition or subtraction sign separating the x's and y's? That's a monomial, right? So there's nothing to multiply, so that just comes down. So this needs to move down, so I get this. Done.
Wait,
Whoa,
what?
whoa, whoa.
Because you multiply both things by y.
Okay, so this right here is a monomial. It's 4x to the 3rd, y to the 5th. So, like, yes, there's a negative there, but let's not worry about it. So I went 3 times 4, and then x squared times x to the negative 3 is x to the negative 1. But this is a monomial. I don't have a plus or a minus sign, so I don't have to distribute 3 that. Right? We'll come back to it.
Oh, that makes sense.
All right, so if we approach this another way, let's get rid of the negative exponent first. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, so tug of war with the x's. Bottom wins. You okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
3 times 4 is 12. Y to the 5th. Same answer? That make it a little more clear? All right, and then, oh no. So we have power to a power to a power. All right,
Uh-oh.
all right. So are we okay with this so far?
Okay.
Now this whole thing is going to be raised to the third power. So I have 2x still outside times 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. X to the 6th. Close that. Still with me? Close that to the 4th.
Man, that number must
So then you
Are we okay so far?
contribute first, then
So where do you go first? Can I combine those together first?
no.
Why not?
Well, you can, but it's easy.
Yes or no?
No.
I'm confused.
Nah, do the
So
fourth.
what's being raised to the 4th power?
The
Some of it or
whole-
everything?
Everything.
Everything, right? All right, so 2 times 27 is 54, I think. X to the 1st, X to the 6th is X to the 7th. Raised to the 4th.
Oof.
Okay, so this 4 comes in, so I get 54 raised to the 4th power. Yuck. X to the 28. What is X, or what is 54 to the 4th? 6 or 8 digits.
8,503,000.
I'm okay with you leaving it as 54 to the 4th power.
Oh,
I'm not trying to see how much memory your calculator has. The poor kid sitting there with the fork function calculator, adds, subtracts, multiplies, divides, going 54 times 45. Oh man, I put it in wrong. Right?
yeah.
I don't get that joke. They don't get it. All right, we're good. Moving on. Yay. All right, so we're still somewhat reviewing. So I have negative 15 x to the 7th. Agree? Everyone stuck with that, or we go okay?
Isn't that it?
That's it. There's no more to do. Then number 6. This comes here, so I get 2 to the 4th. And we can take care of 2 to the 4th. There's 2, 4, 8, 16, right? And then a to the what?
No, 12.
Their exponents are like bunnies when they're on top of each other. They?
Multiply.
Oops. I don't know why again. 16a to the 12th. That okay?
They multiply just like
Oh.
the rabbit population.
All right.
It's 4e to the 6th
I don't know.
over d to the 3rd.
Whoa, what?
D to the
Where are we at? Oh, this one. Oh, okay, you already did it.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 on top, tug of war. Bottom wins by 3 on the D's. Top wins by 6 on the top. I love it. Hey, what does this negative 3 do? Flips the whole fraction over, so let's take care of that first. Now, some of you are like, hey, couldn't I just do what's inside the fraction first? Yes, but you know that negative, to get rid of it, you just flip the fraction over. Is everyone okay with that so far? It's still raised to the 3rd because I haven't distributed the 3rd. I just said, hey, I got a negative, flip it over. Now let's reduce it. 6 over 2 reduces to 3. Tug of war with the A's. Who wins, top or bottom? Bottom by how many? 1. So I get a to the 1st, or just a to the 3rd, because that 3 needs to come down. So I get 3 to the 3rd is 27, because 3 times 3 times 3, and a to the 3rd. Done. Look at that. Life good so far?
Pretty good, yeah.
You guys want to hear kind of a creepy story that happened in my neighborhood?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so my birthday was December 30th. Thank no, it's too late. It's too late.
Yeah.
I was expecting cupcakes and all that kind of stuff, but y'all didn't do it. But we all decided.
I'm sorry.
So my wife says, hey, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I really, the end of the semester, as you all know, got really busy for everybody, right?
So I wanted to go see Bohemian Rhapsody.
How was it?
Oh, unbelievable movie. I 100% recommend it. Loved it. But I'm a big fan of Queen. I love the band.
Literally has
Queen is one of the bands. If someone said, "Hey, what top 3 concerts would you go to if you could go to, even if you had to go back time?" I'd have Queen.
The one where Freddie Mercury.
I'd have Madonna on the Like a Virgin tour, and Michael Jackson.
That's your 3?
That's my 3.
What about Kiss?
Didn't Michael Jackson do something?
Dude, I saw Kiss the first time at 77. I've seen him 9 times since then.
Oh my. Michael
So-
Jackson?
No, Kiss.
Oh, I
Yes,
was like,
Michael
how?
Jackson.
What about Elvis? Would you see Elvis?
I would see Elvis, but I would want to see Elvis in the later years.
Aren't you too young?
I want to see Tom's dad.
No, Elvis died when I was 6. He died in 1977.
Ooh.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it still exists.
Someone told me he died on the toilet. Is that true?
Huh?
Didn't he die on the toilet?
Supposedly.
Huh.
All right.
No, the story. No, the story.
Oh, so the story. So I live by Powell Middle School, which is by Arapahoe High School, general vicinity that way. And so we go to pull out, and I was like, oh, right along the green belt by our house. I mean, I know most of you have green belts by your houses or the nature paths or whatever your neighborhood calls it to make it look fancier.
The park?
It's basically a drainage ditch that they have trees in. So there's a cop car sitting kind of just down the street from my house by the thing. I was like, huh, there's a cop there. No big deal. We drive and go and watch the movie. Because, you know, if a cop's just parked someplace, they don't have their lights on and their gun drawn, there's nothing really to see. So we get back from the movie, and there's like 40 cop cars, lights going, and I see the coroner's van. And I'm like, dude, I know who's in that.
Someone
You know,
dead?
Yeah,
Yes.
this homeless dude was living down in our gulch and died. But here's the real sad and creepy thing. They feel the coroner, because, you know, I have the medical class, and you met the coroner because she came in and talked to her in our class. You both did. So I called her, yeah, Kelly Lee, because she's a Arapahoe County coroner. And so I said, hey, you guys found a homeless person right by my house. And she goes, yeah. She goes, Chris, it's really sad. He had been dead for at least 30 days.
Oh.
So he was eaten by some animals.
Oh.
Why are you telling me?
Because, you know, I'm just that morbid guy. But,
Or you died?
yeah, he died. He died of natural causes.
Wait,
who killed him?
And, like,
No,
kicked
he
it,
died of
eaten
natural
it,
causes.
rolled down the street, and then she just sees, like, the dead guy.
Who did what?
Is that what happened? Some, like,
How
little
did
Susie
someone-
kicked
that's
her
like a
son
mad-
all down
right
the
by
street,
my
and she just
house.
came
That's
across.
like
a dead
So-
guy.
I've heard a couple of different stories. I'm not sure which one to believe, but one of them was somebody was walking their dog, and they were throwing a ball, and their dog went down there, and they went and found it. So I don't know.
This is gonna sound really bad, but did you use a stick to poke the body?
Did I? No, I did not discover the body.
Oh.
All right. So we have found square roots and cube roots before, but look at this. We have this letter N that's existing there now. So we're talking about nth root. So I can take the nth root, which is some number root of any number. Now, most of the time it comes out as some huge irrational decimal, but every now and then it might not. Okay? So you know perfect squares, and then we talk about perfect cubes, and there's perfect fourths and fifths and sixths. And beyond that, you start getting to numbers that are way too big. You know what's great, though? 1, the cube root of 1 is 1, the fourth root of 1 is 1, the fifth root of 1 is 1. So 1 works really well with all these roots. It's just when you start getting really large nth roots, it's hard to find. So this n means the nth root of a. And then if I have 1 over this, I don't think that's correct.
It's just one of those mistakes.
Yeah, this is incorrect. Cross that out. So basically what you need to realize is this is the same thing as a raised to the 1 over n. I'm not quite sure how they got that. Okay? So where did the 1 come from here? This. This is incorrect, so cross that out.
Oh.
Okay?
So the nth root of a is the same thing as a raised to the 1 over n power. Okay? The root, whatever the radical is, becomes the denominator. So you have an exponent, it's now a fraction. And then the 1 is basically here. This is where that comes from. I know, Olivia. We'll get through it. Big sigh. I thought you were going to Snapchat it going, dude, look at this jacked up stuff I'm doing. And your kid is in like BC Calc, like, yeah, it's easy. You don't have friends in BC Calc?
No, that's stupid.
I do.
I don't have that many friends.
You know what? That's the great thing. You always look smart when you surround yourself with dumb people.
Not necessarily.
That makes
you
you
sad
sad.
for surrounding yourself with dumb people.
All right.
Not if you're stupid.
So rewrite the expression in radical notation.
Kind of harsh, man.
What?
5th root of 7. Is that okay?
Yes.
What is number 10?
Wow.
4th root of 12. Now some of you are like, hey, where'd the 1 go? Well, it's still there. I just don't have to put it. Because I don't write all my numbers with, hey, number 3, that's really 3 to the first. So now let's say I value our numbers to the first power. Okay?
Wait, so if you have like a
Yes.
7 to
Yep.
the 2 to the 5th, you
Yep.
put the 2 on top.
Yep.
then?
There you go.
Nice.
We'll get there. Oops, come on down. All right. What do you think?
27 to the 1/6.
27 to the 1/6 power. What do you think? 17 to the 1/3. Pretty easy.
Yeah.
Those are exponents, right? Those fractions are exponents, and that's how they should be. Can I move on? All right. All right, so real nth roots. You're like, well, okay. So we're talking about a real number. A real number is a number that is all the numbers you've dealt with that doesn't have a negative under the square root sign. So if n is odd, so let's say we had just an example of this. So if n is an odd number, 3 is odd?
Yeah.
Like 3, 5, 7, 9, right? If n is odd, then A has blank real solutions.
1, 0,
2,
3.
Oh,
I don't know.
Think about this.
If it's odd, then it has
1,
1,
0.
You got 1?
3,
2. So if A,
3.
so if n is odd, we're okay so far, then A has blank real roots, nth roots.
2.
So let's put a number that we could do.
1.
3.
What is the 3rd root of 8?
2.
2.
Is that okay?
Yeah. That's 1.
So it's 1.
Oh.
Okay, what is the 3rd root of 7 though?
0. It doesn't make. There is
No, there's 1. It's just like
There is one. It's like 2 point
Well, it's
something, something,
weird,
something,
so
something.
So it's like one real solution.
Infinite real solutions.
What?
Let's put 1 for right now till we can decipher a difference.
No,
Okay.
just tell us.
No, it's correct.
Okay.
Sorry, the anxiety princess and back is. All right, if n is odd, and A happens to be bigger than 0, so A is some number that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, what?
She said odd.
Oh, if n is even, you should highlight why any of you that's hooked on phonics. If n is even, and A is greater than 0, so A is a number that's bigger than 0. Then we have to understand that we have 2 real nth roots. You have the positive and negative component of it. Okay? So if I have the 4th root of something, I have 2 real roots. If I have the 6th root, if I have the 8th root, there's the plus and minus component that we have to remember. Is there more to this slide? Maybe? Okay. Oh boy. If n is even, so 2, 4, 6, 8, and A is equal to 0,
0.
oh, we have 1.
Which is 0.
Why would you
Right.
have a 0 under a radical?
Because people like are weird. And then if n is even, so if I had to the second root, to the fourth root, to the sixth root, and a is less than 0, so I have an odd number under here, I have 0 real nth roots.
Yeah, negative is not a high number.
So if I had, say, if I had the fourth root of negative 16, that doesn't work. If I have the fourth root of 16, that's equal to 2. Okay? And this would actually be plus or minus 2. But if I had this, that doesn't give me a real number. That has I that we throw
I
in there.
know. I said negative. You should go odd number. No, like
Yeah,
when
aren't they
Yeah,
supposed to be
16 is
negative?
even.
it should be negative. Instead of writing odd, wouldn't it just be a negative number? Because it doesn't like you do
Negative
two,
or
like,
Yeah,
odd.
you could put
a
it.
fifth.
Oh,
Or like
I-
decimal.
You see what I'm
that should have
saying?
been you're saying this. It should be
Yeah.
negative, negative, negative. I'm sorry. Gosh.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, maybe I was the dead guy they found in the gulch.
Oh.
Ooh. Me too. Well, that'd be kind of cool though. That'd go right into the Halloween story. It's like, dude, I had this teacher. He was a ghost.
Yeah, but if you were a ghost, you could haunt people instead of like teaching them math, Because this math.
We sat there all semester. I had no idea. He wasn't really there. He was just this weird apparition. All right. All right. Uh-oh. When n is blank, you can find the nth root of a negative value. So when n is odd, so third root, fifth root, n is odd, then you can find the nth root of a negative value. Okay? When n is even, there are no real number roots. So square root, fourth root, sixth root. And then rational exponents. Let a raised to the 1 over n be the nth root of a. What?
What?
Why is there an M and N?
Because we like M&Ms. Have you had the hot cocoa once? They're pretty good.
But they melt.
They melt in your mouth, not in your hands.
Nah, sometimes the M&Ms just like melt in the bag. Like,
All right. So let's just take a look at the rule. If I have this, this is the same thing as this. Why is it the same thing? Well, if I multiply this in on this fraction, I get m over n, which is going to be the same thing as this. Notice the denominator becomes that root. So let's pair this in with some numbers. So if I have 5 to the 3/4 power, this is going to be the same thing as the fourth root of 5 to the third. Now, I understand some of you are like, oh, isn't that 125? Yes, it is. So you could change the 5 to the third to 125. How'd you get that? Because 5 times 5 times 5 is
Do you want
125.
it in the square root or outside of it?
Great question. Here's your answer. It's the same thing.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Cool? All right. Heading down a little bit further. Come on, baby.
not equal to 0.
All right. So I have a negative exponent that's a fraction. So that means it needs to come down. So we're doing the same operation, but we just moved it down. And then I get this. Hey, why do we have to say that a cannot be equal to 0 in this case?
A equals 0, then it's not a... What?
If
Why
A equals 0,
can't I
then
have
it's
a
1.
0 as my a value?
Oh, because if they're grouping a solution.
Why is there no solution?
Because it's 0.
What's 0?
A?
The top of the fraction or the bottom?
The bottom.
The bottom.
Oh,
So
yeah.
in the
And
denominator,
Yeah.
if the denominator is equal to 0, then you have no solution. Right? Because you can't divide by 0. It actually goes with the central limit theorem that you can find in calculus in 2 years.
Oof.
So as soon as you walk into your calc class, we're going to do central limit theorem. Mr. Sherp taught it to me.
You're gonna be my
And you
teacher.
just drop the ball on it. And go. All right, rewrite the exponent used in rational exponents. So what number is right here?
1.
1.
0?
Uh-uh.
square root, what number has to be there? 2. So that has to be a 2 right there. All right, so I get x to the 3 over 2. A couple of you are talking too much. All right. What about this one? I will get x to the 2 over 4, but I know that 2 over 4 is the same thing as? You mean you can reduce exponents? Yeah. All right. Anything else on this slide? Maybe a little bit. All right, let's rewrite the expression using rational exponent notation. Okay. So 23 to the 4/7 power. Cool. 15 to the
4/3.
check to see if you can reduce. I can't reduce that. I can't reduce that. Did you change that to a mixed number? No. Mixed number was the cutesy way that your elementary school teacher, in order to justify to you, taught you fractions. You want to know where my elementary school teacher screwed up? It's like, okay, you have 2 different pizzas you bought. I was done. Because you know where my mind just went? I'm like, oh, I'm going to be eating pizza. And then I turn to Shane Bozier and I go, dude, Shane, dude, man, we got to go get Smitty's pizza. And we'd start talking. And all of a sudden we'd look back and it would be like, the lesson's done.
Watch the video.
Dude,
That was like the old school that, you know, we had these slideshows. They didn't have anything cool. There was one kid in the class, it's like he knew how to use it. He was like the AV geek. Okay, slide projector, turn it. You have no idea what I'm talking about, which is good. Yeah, there was like always one kid in the class that knew how to feed the film into the movie projector. Say, hey, we don't have sound. Oh, here's the knob to turn it up. Oh, you're so smart.
Are those like the water films or whatever?
What?
Don't you put them in ink or something? Some kind of liquid?
That's for photos.
That's photos.
Oh.
That's for Polaroid.
Polaroid, yeah. All right, rewrite this fraction using radical. So this is the what root of 9? 5th root. Where's the 3 go?
On the top.
It goes either outside or inside. Doesn't really matter where you put it. So it looks like that. Should you find that 9 to the 3rd is 729? No. Just leave it. And then this one is the 4th root of 11 to the 7th power. And again, I could have the 7 outside if I wanted to. And then evaluate without using a calculator, because, you know, it's like, hey, you've got a calculator. Now we're taking it away. That's like, you know, your parents are saying, hey, we're going to get ice cream today. And they're like, oh, forget it. We're not going to get it. You're like, hey! I don't know if you equate ice cream and calculators. It's the same thing. I sure do.
Ice cream, but you can't have any.
Right. All right. So, what times what times what times what gives me 81?
3.
3. 3 times 3 is 9, right? Times 3 is 27. Times 3 is 81. So this gives me 3. So just so you decipher this, this is the same thing as this. So I want you to see this. Eyes up here real quick. How many of a kind am I looking for?
3.
I'm looking for 4 of a kind. So what's the 4th root of 3, 3, 3, 3? 3. What's the 4th root of 81? 3.
Next one is 5.
Is that okay?
5i.
Okay. This one, my answer is going to be negative because that negative needs to come down. Still with me? And then what is the 3rd root of 125?
5.
So I have an answer of negative 5. Because 5 times 5 times 5 is that. And again, if you look at this, you have to recognize that, hey, 5 times 5 times 5. I'm looking for 3 of a kinds. 3rd root of 3 of a kind of 5 is 5. This one is going to become this. Is that okay? Hey, why didn't I put the 3 over 2 in this? Because what is 1 to the 3rd square root of that? 1. Good. All right. So then this is going to be the same thing as 1 over the square root of 36 to the 3rd. Square root of 36 is, so here's the thing. I could go 36 cubed and then take the square root of that, which is stupid. That's a big old number. Or I can go square root of 36 is,
6.
and 6 to the 3rd is, 6 to the 3rd is actually 216. So you could say, hey, cool, I have 1 over 216. Or I would totally accept having 1 over 6 to the 3rd. Almost. Is that last one?
Yes.
That's last one? Hey! So, worksheet 8A will be marked up. Hey, quick reminder, don't pack up yet. Just listen to how you're packing if you are packing up. Remember, I'll give you top mark. That means you get how many points?
4.
And that means that you tried every problem, right?
Yes.
Does that mean they're all right?
No.
No. So that's 4 points. Or if you're that kid, because you're like, dude, I did some in class and I went home, did nothing. What's that middle mark mean? 3. That means you did half to 3/4 attempted. And if you get that bottom mark, means you get 2. Now, let's clarify something real quick. If I give you a bottom mark, am I going to give you 2 points for turning in a sheet with your name on it?
No.
No. Get it done. Am I going to give you a 3 for sitting there and not having it done? No. Take it home, get it done. Am I going to give you a 4 if you turn it in and you attempted all the problems? Yes. So the only marks I want to collect tomorrow are the people who completed it. If you get this mark or this mark, take time to get it finished. Now, I know some of you are like, oh, there was like 5 more problems, and I'm sitting in the front row, and I'm going to copy Drew Watson's.
That's a bad idea.
Good choice.
My man
You
over
got
there.
100.
Nah, you gotta copy someone who's.
It's because I submitted it for you. I don't know what my fingers.
I just could've said that.
So, everyone good? Everyone happy? Hey, so what's an expectation I have if you're absent?
Watch
Watch the video.
Please watch my video. Don't give me some lame excuse like I don't have YouTube.
That's what
Really?
the internet's for.
Everybody got YouTube.
I mean, that's like, the kid in 1970 that says he doesn't have, roller skates that have steel wheels that he rides on the road that make sparks. Those were the good old days.
They have those in
They can still make them.
Hueys.
No, they have those in
Drew, I'm going to find you
Yes,
some.
they did have those.
Not the metal ones.
Yes, they did.
I remember those in the razors. They were not metal.
They also have them in like razor scooters.
They probably got like light up shoes out there too.
There was a time that if you wore your bike helmet, you were the biggest nerd in the world. Now you become the freak show if you don't have a bike helmet on. People are pointing. It's like you're smoking. Look, that kid's smoking. It's like when you go skiing or snowboarding, if someone doesn't have a helmet on, they become like the oddity that you're looking at going, oh my gosh, they're crazy. You might break their head open. I will tell you, I've skied for a long time. I will knock on wood to say that I have never bailed and hit my head with or without a helmet.
I have.
Have you? But you're more daring than I am.
One of my dad's coaches got a full
Yeah.